In the upper bracket finals, Dawncore and Orion Wanderers did battle, with Orion surprisingly coming out swinging on Hell's Heaven for map number 1. This may have been the closest to a map loss Dawncore had been throughout all of the MRGR, but they managed to emerge victorious after a highly contested round of domination. They'd also pick up a win on Yggdrasil Path and punch their ticket to Grand Finals, securing a money spot for themselves and sending Orion Wanderers packing to the lower bracket. Down there, Orion would face off against the Decoys in the lower bracket finals, who'd been on a tear through the lower bracket. They hadn't lost a map yet on the day and hoped to keep it that way. But this was Orion's opportunity to show how much they'd grown over these past 4 weeks of competition, and show off they did. They not only broke the Decoys' undefeated streak they racked up that day, but they won the match 2-0, and were granted a fated rematch once again with Dawncore in the Grand Finals. But it would be an uphill battle for Orion, as Dawncore received a 1-map advantage for completing their upper bracket run undefeated. This series was a best of 5, but this advantage meant that Dawncore only needed to win 2 maps instead of 3 to close out the set. And against arguably the toughest team in all of the MRGR, it was a tall order for any team to rise to. And on top of that, playing an extra set in the lower bracket meant that they had to be getting tired by this point. But all that spelled potential success for Dawncore, as they reaped the fruits of their labor for their dominance thus far. It was a clinical map number 1 for them as these two teams returned to Hell's Heaven for another bout, with Dawncore completely flipping the script on Orion. It wasn't as though Orion was completely devoid of signs of life, but Dawncore just had so much momentum at this point, it's very likely that any Rivals team would have found them to be a fair challenge. Spider Island served as the stage for match point, with Dawncore just a single win away from completing a 4-week undefeated streak without dropping a single map. So Paddock whipped out the Black Widow on this map, and while Orion would put up a fight near the end, they were absolutely hamstrung by level, experiencing some unfortunate connection issues right from the start of their defensive run. Orion were ultimately unable to secure a checkpoint, and that would cement Dawncore as the untouchable champions of this first phase of the MRGR. Between this and a respectable finish in the MRC, it's very likely that we'll be seeing Dawncore on the Ignite stage in no time, showing that events like this are truly the proving grounds for future top-tier challengers.